Hey, what's up, guys? It's me, Michael, again. I'm just going to be talking a little bit about some of the overall designs we drew out and proposed for different ways to tackle this game. We wanted to do very broad strokes overall designs pretty soon after the game reveal to be able to get some ideas fresh out of our head and have great methods for prototyping based on these ideas. So up here, this is one of our, a very prevalent theme in a lot of these designs, having an arm on some sort of pivot. Very similar to a team like Ri3D in 2016 with some sort of shooting and pickup mechanism. Allows you to shoot from multiple heights, allows you to pick up from the ground, human player station, and score in both the amp station and the note scoring up top. So something like this, that's just an arm on a pivot with a manipulator on the end, is kind of what a lot of these designs are based off of. This design here, very similar, it just has a different manipulator on the end. We also considered putting the manipulator inside the chassis, if you have like the chassis here and the manipulator inside rather than outside, because the game piece is so thin, you can actually drive over and pick up within. And so that seemed like something that would be very interesting to look into and pursue, as it would be you wouldn't be as prone to getting damaged by defensive robots, and it may allow for better packaging of the robot overall. Some more interesting ideas here. We had a dumper here, which is another arm on a pivot, but this time with a block, and it feeds directly from the human player station and then simply moves to the other side and dumps the game piece into the amp station. This is a very, very easy thing to build. It's literally one motor, and it would allow for scoring in the amp station, which is very strong as a more supportive robot on an alliance. So this seemed like a really great idea to pursue, especially early on, and make sure we have a deliverable product before trying more complex ideas. This idea here is very similar to the initial shooter, but instead of using flywheels like this design, this just uses a spring, and we can press back, let go, and shoot the game piece out. This is interesting and definitely something we want to test, as we want to see how big of an impact using flywheels and actually being able to generate and control spin will have on the game piece, or whether you can just shoot it straight up in something like I don't know, a launcher or something like that. This is another idea kind of going with a lot of these arms on pivots. Instead of having a more traditional ground intake that rolls over and then has a piece of polycarb in the back, or one that rolls from the side, having kind of two wheels that grip the game piece like so seemed like a good idea to pursue, as it would take up a lot less space and just be able to stick over the frame perimeter, grab the game piece, and deliver it to the amp station. So this seemed like a good idea to pursue. And then this was a more interesting idea that unfortunately we don't really have the hardware to test, but it is pretty cool. Instead of these other ideas that are able to pick up on the ground and pivot on some sort of arm, this idea goes straight from the human player station. The game piece is fed in, and there's a set of omni wheels, so it can slide down. And when it needs to be delivered, the omni wheels are shot as they're on two axles, and the game piece is pushed straight out. So yeah, definitely a cool idea, but not something that we have the hardware to perform, as we don't really have any omni wheels. And then besides all these arm pivot ideas, we also had this ramp idea over here, which is simply a ramp where you get the game piece from the human player station and then shoot it out in the same way it came in. Very similar to the kit bot, but we considered adding a ground intake here to improve upon that, and also testing our climber. So yeah, that's kind of just some general ideas. This is very preliminary sketches. We're gonna do some prototyping, pursue some of these ideas, and then we'll get into actual CAD dimensioning and fleshing out these ideas. So yeah, that's kind of the start of our brainstorming.